where you hanging, where you been and where you at. It's like I've been dead or something, but I've been busy doing mama stuff.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. It's very informal.
Okay.
Yeah. But Norwegians used to be a quite conservative people. And they used to have a lot more formal greetings. And then over the years, society changed, and many of the old ways of greeting have, in a way, disappeared. So, in Uganda, the way you have kneeling for, elderly or distinguished people, at least in Baganda culture, not actually in the culture that my family comes from. My family is from Ankole, and traditionally they don't kneel.
What do they do?
They hug.
Tough mama love.
Oh my goodness, I love food. And the thing with me, I think it's because I was raised partly in Uganda, a couple of years in Kenya, and the rest in Norway. I obviously have a relationship with Ugandan food, and I have a long-standing relationship with Norwegian food. And then, of course, all cultures, they also have, like, you have the traditional stuff, like the deep, deep traditional stuff. And then you also have, like, all the, I would call, commercial foods. I love my matoke. I love my traditional Ugandan food. I'm married to a man who's also half Norwegian, half Ugandan, but his family comes from the north. My family's from Ankole, right? And his family, they also have their traditional foods, I really like healthy stuff. And over the years, I actually became a vegetarian, which I'm still today. I eat fish, but I don't eat meat and chicken.
Tough mama love. Tough mama love.
For almost everything else in life, you have to go to school. People will say you need a paper to do this, or, you at least need to have some type of, course or schooling to do it. And then for life's most challenging task, you are given a live, living, little baby child, and here you go, and then off you go, and you're left to your own devices. It's so crazy. I remember I kind of panicked when I had my first child. I was like, what? I'm not competent. I don't know what to do with this little thing. Are you sure? Are you crazy? Are you giving me this baby? You mean I'm responsible? I was so scared. And then, so I find then, as I started my parenting journey, I just found that maybe the tools that were given to me in parenting, which is the same for everyone, is the way you were parented. We don't know anything else. So, if you were slapped as a child, maybe your first reaction would be that, oh, the child is misbehaving, smack, or whatever other parenting things your parents did to you, So it's like we're just given a live little human being, and then you have a toolbox. And in that toolbox, you open, and what do you see? You see your own parents. I think especially for people who are raising children in a foreign country, because for many, it's very important to keep your own culture, right? You don't want the child to just grow up and become a European or an American. You want them to have something of your own culture. So for many, that, what can I give my child, and how can I make my child at least a bit Ugandan? People always tell me, I have 2 daughters, they always tell me, oh, your children, they're so polite, they're so friendly, they're so nice, they always help, that kind of thing. I never beat them. I didn't need to do that in order to make them like that. So, but they have understood I'm extremely clear about what I think is right and what is wrong. And I'm also extremely clear about who is the boss. So my husband, we are the same in that sense. We are the leaders of the household. We don't have like one master of the household. We are two, we are a team, and our rules lay the basis for how this family functions. So I think it is possible to bring up children without bringing out the stick. I would say that my Ugandan Norwegian background has influenced my work in a great deal. I've worked in the cultural industry for 25 years, and I've been doing performing arts, music. As a performing artist, I used to try, in the beginning, I was just like auditioning for parts, you know, and I did for quite a few years work as a freelance actress. I was a musical artist. I would, you know, and then eventually I realized it was like there was a limit to the type of roles I could get, and it had to do with skin color. So most of the parts that were given to, you know, white actors and actresses, and it was very difficult to get anywhere with my career. So I teamed up with a group of other African Norwegian musical artists and performers. So we started a group called Queendom. We were 5 women with various African backgrounds, and we started making our own performances, basically a mixture of like music and slam poetry. So we were singers, songwriters, poets, and we started performing. So we've had like a 20-year career doing that, making different performances and touring around Norway.
If you ask me, where are you coming from? If you ask me.
In the type of performances we made, our backgrounds played a huge role, because in a way our backgrounds were what brought us together. So we used to make plays, and there was a lot of humor and comedy, but it was also very political. You know, we would bring up difficult topics of, you know, cultural diversity, identity, Norwegianness, whiteness, blackness, racism, a lot of stuff like that. So I would say my bicultural heritage has had a lot to do with my choice of career. Oh, there are loads of challenges, but not all of them are related to culture. So some of the challenges I would say that have just kind of been there the whole time have been that you have a cultural industry in Norway which is very white dominated. So it's white middle class, and I would say that a lot of the very talented Black artists that came up in Norway during like the 80s and 90s all found it very difficult to find a place within the established cultural industry. So that has become better over the years, but there is still a fight for equality and for diversity and representation within arts and culture in Norway. The last album we made, which is like a music, kind of African-inspired album, which is on Spotify. It's called Mama Love in one word, named after one of the songs. After that came a pandemic because that record came out in 2019. But what happened after that is that we started writing a play, which had almost no music at all. It was just text. So we started writing an autobiographical play, and we teamed up with a male performing artist and actor. So his background is Nigerian Norwegian, my background is Ugandan Norwegian, and my colleague from Queendom, her background is also Nigerian Norwegian. But we're different genders and we have very, very different relationships to our minority status and to our African fathers. So the play, as we started writing about our lives, the play started becoming very much about fatherhood, actually. So it's like an exploration of what fathers mean when you're forming your identity, because we always think about mothers. Mothers are everything, but dads mean a lot. Becoming a whole and balanced person with your different cultural identities is a lifelong process. So when you hit a rough patch, don't give it up, because at the end of the day, you are the one to be living that life, and you are the one who decides how to merge these things so they work for you.